So if you're just joining us,
we're embarking on an interesting topic.
We're in the middle of a conversation with Jeff Thompson, Beth Gustin, Robin Ennis.
Oh yeah, Wellness Wednesday with Beth and Robin. Gonna settle it down. Oh yeah, get your feet planted on the ground. Wellness Wednesday.
What does it mean to be well?
I'm not doing it for me totally, but it feels good. But I do it for them too, because I'm sure it's nice to hear feedback from people.
Why are you here? What brings you meaning? What gives you meaning? If you don't know, explore it and find it.
Just the little tweaks along the way just keep you moving. I like this.
I agree. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. Today it is me, which is Beth Gustin, licensed professional counselor here in Colorado, and Jeff Thompson, the wonderful person that does all the work behind the scenes and whose voice you've been able to hear in our recent conversations. Robin is not here with us today, but she'll be back. And so Jeff and I thought we would talk about the concept of wellness and what does it mean to be well? Jeff brought up this topic based on a conversation he had with our good friend ChatGPT. So I'll let you share what that was about.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I've heard an article or something on the news about how wellness has been watered down just because we see it in magazines, advertisements, on protein bars, everything out there. And people are just like letting it slip on by, not putting much value on it. And I was thinking, that's not right because it's very important. So I thought it would be a great topic to throw at Wellness Wednesday.
I agree, especially given that we are Wellness Wednesday and we talk a lot about different aspects of what it means to be well. And we have the topic a while back around the, I think we did 6 domains of self-care at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about wellness, which technically, by one definition, means to be healthy and actively pursuing goals, or to be in good health and actively pursuing goals. And that got me thinking it's a very broad definition. And I do think a lot of words tend to get saturated with their use and lose their meaning. There's a song by an artist named Harvey Danger, and the line in the song is, "I'm not sick, but I'm not well." And that line always kind of makes me go, huh, and smile too. But I think there's interesting to go down the rabbit hole with that line of "I'm not sick, but I'm not well." For me, thinking about wellness, if we do use the 8 domains, which I like that one, it's physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, social, occupational, and then the other 2 people often add on is financial and environmental. So many factors can impact how we stay well and how we define well. And none of us are going to be exceptional at all 8 of these. None of us are going to be well in each of these domains 100% of the time. And I don't think that should be our goal.
I really like the environmental and the financial components as who are you surrounded by that can be impacting you, and how's your financial situation. That can be a lot of stress and anxiety. All that comes together bit by bit, making add up.
It does. And I think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think tends to come into play here a little bit. And we have to have our basics met first. So to me, let's take care of the physical wellness first. Are you staying hydrated? Are you getting decent food? Do you have shelter? And I think environmental can lead into that one too, around, is your space cluttered? Is it chaotic? Do you have a challenging home life? What is your environment around you like? If we can get those 2 things well and healthy, then we can build on the rest, belonging and socialization and having nourishing, healthy relationships, not toxic or unhealthy relationships. And then we can kind of move up and I think work on the emotional well-being and occupational and the other more challenging domains, I think, to meet depending on our circumstances.
I like the part about reaching out and staying connected with friends, family, others. Just that connectivity in your social engagement can really make a difference. Are you making those phone calls once in a while just to chit chat? It's amazing how those can add to your well-being.
Absolutely. And I hear some people out there saying, I don't have no one to call or text. And while your social circle might be extremely small, can you at least say hi to a neighbor? Can you say hi to someone at the grocery store next time you get groceries if you go to the store? Can you call that person you haven't spoken to in a long time and just say, hey, I was thinking about you and wanted to say hi. You can keep it short. but we need to maintain socialization and connectedness to reduce isolation. It's critical to our well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you mentioned the 6 domains, I had to look it up. And they also mentioned the extra 2 on there. So I started reading it and I said, yeah, this is all of it. When you break it down, little parts of those things, like I mentioned before, I was just like, wow, did we talk about this? But we did talk about it.
Self-care is what I classify it as.
Yeah. And I think that's it, to take little bits and pieces, not to take the whole thing in one big swallow, but just little bits and pieces of this and how you get through your day. I think this is great that this came up.
I agree. I think it's good to revisit it because, like I said, we did cover it a while back. I forget when exactly which episode that was, but we often feel very daunted by trying to achieve these 8 domains of wellness. And I think about little things you can do. So, for example, can you take an extra glass of water between something that you're doing? So build it in, just, one more glass of water. Or can you stand up and even just walking around your living space or your office, if you're at work at the office, just get up and move a little bit, once an hour. Or can you take 5 minutes a day to learn something new, like a new word of the day? Or if you're learning a language, just take 5-10 minutes and learn a new word in that vocabulary. There's a lot of small things we can do throughout our day that aren't going to be hard to incorporate. And all those things, even if you focus on one domain, whatever you do is going to help you become more well.
Mm-hmm. It was 2.5 years ago. I fell off a step stool. And this is physical well-being, but it's also part of the mental part of it. The therapist told me that I should do these leg exercises. All I did was bruise some bones around the knee area. Physically, I was okay. Structurally, I guess, mechanically. And he suggested these leg raisers that I do in the morning. And I've been doing them for 2.5 years, and I can run up steps and everything. My brother was like, you run up those steps? He's a year younger than me, and he doesn't run up the steps. But it's like, I didn't even think about it. I guess I am running up the steps. And I have to owe it to that little discipline of getting that over with right in the morning and then stretching my legs. And, my shoulder has something. So I do these little things. It only takes 5-10 minutes, like you said. And it makes such a big difference because it's not a problem that I have to work around. And it frees up my time for other things that are important.
I'm smiling because I'm kind of laughing on the inside because I'm working on a couple different things. I'm in physical therapy right now for ankles and lower back and some hip issues. And every time you go to PT, they add on more exercises. And I'm also trying to exercise on my own just to do some ab strengthening and just to become healthy overall because I'd like to be more healthy. And I was thinking to myself as I walked out of PT last night going, wow, at this rate, I'll be doing like nothing but exercising all day long because it just takes so long to get through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you're right. If you just sit down and do it, it doesn't take that long. And even 15 minutes in the morning just to go through, all the PT stuff in my case, or keep doing the current workout that I'm doing. It's like every little bit's going to help. And I'll be hopefully where you are in 2 years, where I can actually walk without pain and maybe run up and down some stairs, and that's the goal, to be able to function without pain.
I don't intentionally run up the steps. I was in a hurry. And so I just did
okay.
it. Normally I just walk up the steps.
Okay.
But I had to go get something because we were working on something. So I ran up the steps, and that's when he made the comment. And but to be able to just sporadically do that stuff, I give credit to the 2.5 years of work that I put in. And
it feels good.
Yeah,
it feels good.
Just those little things. Like even, I know financial, occupational, social, it does take time, but I've been doing that, trying to make an extra phone call here or there, or just drop a text or a message or respond to someone that puts something out there. I don't know if it feels good, but one other thing that I've been doing is sending a message to someone because I remembered them in high school. Or I remembered them from working with them or something. And I just give them a compliment, what they still mean to me today, in a sense. It's not long. It's just short, but I remember them. And I've always gotten feedback back from them that, wow, that's really nice, stuff like that. I'm not doing it for me totally, but it feels good. But I do it for them too, because I'm sure it's nice to hear feedback from people.
I like that. And I think, again, it doesn't take long and you can really make someone's day by doing that. And I think it helps, like, we do feel good giving someone else a compliment in most cases. And I think that can tie into the emotional and spiritual domain of wellness. Gratitude, in a sense, you're showing gratitude for that person. And it definitely can help us feel better if we express gratitude. And this isn't complicated, so don't make it this big, huge thing. Start really small with something you already do and expand on it, or something that you'd like to do and just try it.
Yeah, when it said spiritual, I wondered what they meant by that totally. Was it totally religion or was it just the beliefs that you have? And I took it like, while you're here, I'm a parent, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend. And it rooted me like where I'm at. Who am I? Kind of neat. I thought it was going to go down a religious thing, but it didn't. It went into more of a philosophical thing. And I like that. It kind of grounded me to, yeah, this is me.
Yeah, I think spiritual can have a lot of different meanings, and it can be religious if prayer is helpful to you and spending time at a church or a mosque or, anything like that. Do that. But it also can mean spending time in nature. It could mean looking at your values, your philosophy on life, your purpose. Why are you here? What brings you meaning? What gives you meaning? And if you don't know, explore it and find it. But yeah, I think spiritual could be a whole different topic in itself for a podcast.
Yeah, I guess what started this out was I was wondering, what is wellness? What is it? Did you just have to go to the doctor? Doing preventive care, like getting an annual checkup. That's a relief, really. I mean, unless you get really bad news, that's another thing. But then you got a direction and you didn't wait too long that you can do something about it. But going in for a cleaning, they can observe something and take care of stuff before it gets too bad at the dentist. So there's all sorts of aspects in here that these little tweaks that you do along the way just kind of keep you moving, like maintenance on a car. If you're going to go on a long trip, get it checked out before you leave, So to me, wellness is just keeping things tuned up enough so you can handle tomorrow.
It's all connected too. I was thinking about, back to my PT example. It's easy to get physical examples for this, but we can branch it out before we wrap up. Like I said, I'm in PT for ankles and hips, but we're doing both. But if I can get my hips and lower back taken care of, my ankles are actually going to feel better because it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start with the foundation, the core, and then you will work outward. And so if you're trying to strengthen your emotional well-being or your financial well-being, start small. Maybe financially you just save like $5 a paycheck for something. Or you start to figure out emotionally what lifts you up. Does journaling help you? Does talking to someone about challenging things help you? Does dance or working it out help you? That's physical and emotional. Maybe you like art as an expressive means of getting emotions out. That's going to strengthen your emotional wellness as well as give you some creativity and some intellectual wellness.
I was thinking when someone has to wake up, start work at 7:00, work till 5 p.m., working hard, all that, it seems like people are just driven to do, just to do, and their agenda, their schedules. But when people get time off or retire, they have so much time. And a lot of people were telling me, the thing about retiring is there's so much things you have to do to keep yourself in shape and do all this stuff that takes up all your time to do it. Like the physical therapy processes, all this other stuff. And I just kind of chuckled at it like, well, actually, you're not just in that do mentality, you're in the take care of yourself mentality, and you can actually concentrate and focus on stuff like that. So it was interesting.
I think about other cultures who appear to prioritize wellness a little more than we do here. And, maybe they only do a 4-day work week, which a lot of companies do that now, but not everybody. They take a longer lunch. They quit early on a Friday, whatever it is. But I do think some other cultures have it right. And they do prioritize other aspects of wellness besides occupational. And I do think it's about balance. I think we need all of these domains to be cared about and actively addressed. And yes, we are going to put more effort into one over the other at times. But if we can make an intentional effort to check in with ourselves, maybe like do a little wellness assessment. And where am I at on these 8 domains? Where could I use some work? How can I strengthen one of these? What am I doing well to meet these? And just see where you want to make some changes.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it when you mentioned the 6 domains and the 8 dimensions of wellness. I just went down this rabbit hole and started reading. I said, that's it. That's it. It isn't a focus on an owie or this, that, or the other thing. It's all the holistic, all of them combined together. And like we were saying, just the little tweaks along the way just keep you moving. I like this.
They do. So we'd love to hear from you as always. I'm curious, which dimension do you resonate with? Which one do you think you're doing well at? What are some of your tips and tricks to help yourself stay well? Or how do you define wellness? Maybe you've got a very different perspective or angle, and we'd love to hear that. Until next time, take care and stay grounded.
I want to thank you for listening. Until next time, bye-bye.
Oh yeah, Wellness Wednesday with Beth and Robin. Gonna settle it down. Oh yeah, get your feet planted on the ground.
For more podcasts with the blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to leave us some feedback, give us a call at 612-367-6093. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.
Wellness and taking care of ourselves. It's all about you and taking care of yourself. Oh yeah.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap
between the limited expectations and the reality
of blind abilities.